Ashlyn.
And I'm Zach.
We're traveling A to Z.
This week we're exploring Maine.
For the next few weeks, we're gonna go explore Maine by driving Highway 1, which is right along the east coast of Maine. Our first stop on our road trip is to Neville Lighthouse. So behind me is Neville Lighthouse. We are in Concordville in Maine, and this lighthouse was established in 1879. It is 41 feet tall, but if you count the rocks it's on, it's actually 88 feet tall. One of only 8 lighthouses in Maine that has the Fresno lens, which is a special lens that actually is made out of sheet that they wrap around so it's smaller and has a lot more light that comes from it. And it was made by a French guy. But it is smaller, so it doesn't have to take up like huge areas for the actual lighthouse. So the lighthouse is behind us. It's really cute. It's about 100 yards off the shore on an island, and the only way to get there is with this little, looks like a ski-like lift thing. Our next stop is to the old town of York. So we're in York, Maine. We're gonna go check out, or try to check out, the oldest prison in the United States and one of the oldest public buildings in Maine. And we're in the oldest cemetery in York, and this grave is from 1774. (1707). Wow. Hardly any of these graves have any writing anymore just because they're so old. So I guess they have a grave in here. It's called the Witch's Grave, and it's a flat stone. I think it's the one over there, but I can't read any of the signs. And they say it's to keep all the bad souls out, but then the husband just made it flat to keep the cattle from like knocking over the gravestone. So it's kind of funny. So this is the First Parish Church, which is the oldest church in Maine. It said it was established in 1735, but it says 1747 on the door, so I'm not sure.
So this house was originally built in 1740. The property it sits on is on a 999-year lease for the equivalent of 16 shillings per year. I don't know how much that is, but it's due at the end of every year. It's still rented until 2765, so they got a few more years left on their lease.
And this is the Emerson Wilcock House. This is the old jail in Maine, and this is one of the oldest buildings in Maine in existence, and built in 1719, I think the construction started. They used this as a jail for a long time, even through the Revolution, and then they closed it. There was only, I guess, a couple escapes. It has a couple rooms, a kitchen, and you can go on a tour there. It's closed right now, unfortunately, but pretty neat. And it still has some of the original wood in it, used to build it from, I think it was in the 1600s the wood is from. Then they also incorporated wood from the 1700s. It's now a historic spot because of it, and it's one of the first colonial buildings built. So that's pretty neat. That's an old building. So in 1899, they started to use some of the buildings around here as a museum. So one of the older museums in the United States. Our next stop is to Portland, Maine. Our first stop of the day is to stop by the Holy Donut. We have never been here before, so the person was giving us a tour of the different types of donuts. Because it is October, they have different types of autumn donuts. We got donuts! So went to the Holy Donut. It was recommended to us. And so there were donuts made out of potatoes, so we got a whole bunch of different ones to try, and they have seasonal fall ones right now too. So we got some hot chocolate, some chai tea, some coffees, and 4 different donuts. We got a dark chocolate donut, a maple donut. I got the seasonal apple caramel donut, and then we got some other donut, I'm not sure. So we're gonna try them out. That is the dark chocolate. How is it? Potato. Can you tell?
Tastes like a donut.
If it's out of potato, is it healthier?
No.
We'll pretend. It is really good. The apple pieces, it's still greasy like a regular donut. It's softer than a regular donut though, I feel. I feel it's like more,
It's like an old-fashioned.
yeah, it's like an old-fashioned, donut. It's pretty good though. Our next stop is to check out LLBean in Freeport, Maine. We went into the LLBean and it is huge. It is the biggest store I've ever seen. It's like Bass Pro and steroids with really, really nice stuff. They have like 4 different buildings, a home store, a clothing wear, hiking, biking, kayaking, canoeing, everything. It's really cool. Our next stop is between the cities of Portland and Freeport. So we are going to Eartha, which is in Maine, and this is the largest rotating globe in the world. So the globe is in a building that has glass around it. You can see from the highway on 295, and it has 3 floors you could go and explore and look at the globe. This is Eartha. It is the biggest rotating globe in the world. It was built in 1998. It is made out of 792 panels. It's it's printed, and this actually area was obtained by Garmin, which is a map company. So this is 41 feet and 1/2 inches in diameter and is 131 feet around. It's tilted at 23.5 degrees axis, which is pretty neat. So I made it to the 3rd floor, and you can see North America from up here. 1 inch on this globe equals 16 miles in real life, and its scale is 1 to 1 million.
Yeah, so the traffic in the background is because it's right off the highway. It was pretty cool. Apparently the Earth spins on 2 axes. I had no idea, so I'm gonna have to look that up.
We're now heading to the giant staircase trail on Bailey's Island. The giant stairs. I think this may be it. This is the giant stairs. It's a pretty short hike, 0.3, 0.2 miles. It has like rocks and just different flowers along the way. It's pretty. Nice little cliffs. This little giant stairs is cute. It has a nice ocean view. I think there's just as impressive places near Portland and some of the other places we've drove past. But it's not that far of a hike, and you do have some really cool rock formations and ocean and stuff to look at. Our next stop is to a little fishing village of Wescosket to go get some lobster rolls for lunch.
We're gonna eat a lobster, I think.
We're waiting in the rain. So we're in a little fishing town, and we're gonna go eat some lobster, and Zach's gonna get a lobster roll, which they're famous for. It's right across from the Reds, the famous restaurant, but there was such a long line that we decided we're not gonna do that. And so we came over to this Sproggs. Had good reviews, so we're gonna try it out.
The cheese sticks are good.
What about the lobster roll?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna eat that later too. I think it's just lobster bread, toasted. It's pretty good.
Our next stop is to a little town outside of Hancock. It is the Stone Design and Granite Garden Gallery. So we are at the Granite Quarry in the middle of Maine. I thought it'd be an interesting place to stop because why not? And it is definitely interesting. I think this is somebody's like just house, and they have their random stuff around, and people can just wander around, and if you really like something, you can buy it. The owner of the property does a lot of granite work, and this is all his artwork. Oh, they have a nice little fire ring. The property had a lot of quarries around it. Our 9th stop on our Maine road trip is to Eastport. So we are currently in Eastport, which is in eastern Maine, and there's a fisherman and a mermaid and a whirlpool. So we're gonna go check them all out. There's the fisherman next to the port. They have a fishing port. Eartha, the Eastport mermaid. Right over there, the other landmass across the way is Canada. Our final stop on our Highway 1 road trip through Maine is to Quoddy Lighthouse. So we are currently in the easternmost point in the United States, and we're at the Quoddy Head Lighthouse, which is behind me. And then over there is Canada, and those rocks over there is kind of the actual like center line where the US and Canada border is. There's supposed to be like a marker. I couldn't see it. I don't know.
This is the easternmost lighthouse in the continental United States. It's 49 feet tall, and you can't even see it from here. It's behind the building.
A gallery and then a little museum. The museum is inside of the lighthouse, and it goes through the history and some of the pictures of the older lighthouse that was there prior. So I'm at the Quoddy Lighthouse, and I just watched the sunrise over the most eastern point of the United States. So I just learned until October 7th, because of the tilt of the Earth, this is the first place to see the sunrise, but after October 7th, Cadillac Mountain is. I hope you enjoyed the road trip up Highway 1. Join us for our next vlog as we take you through some of the beautiful state parks of Maine and go leaf peeping. Please subscribe below to follow more of our adventures.